Now, Shri Vikas Ranjan. Vikas Ranjan, Lok Sabha Chambers.
Yes, I'm in Lok Sabha chamber.
Yeah.
I really take this opportunity to thank you, sir,
Okay.
for providing me an opportunity to speak on the address of the President of India. I think the President of India is the head of the state, but his speech really relates to as if he is the head of the government. This speech, therefore, in my humble understanding, relates to the
6 minutes.
so-called achievements of the government and at the cost of the democratic principle. I just quote from the Honorable President's speech. He has started his speech quoting from a particular couplet from a well-known poet from Assam, but this has a very dangerous strain. He says that India's grandeur is the ultimate truth. In one single consciousness, one thought, one devotion, one inspiration, let us unite, let us unite. This idea of one consciousness, one thought, one devotion is basically against the spirit of the Indian Constitution and it hits Indian constitutional morality. I'm shocked. But this basic philosophical foundation ultimately led the Honorable President to go ahead with his speech, which is not a complete speech. If I come to paragraph 6 and 7 of his speech, he has not mentioned, and deliberately he was not allowed to mention, the hunger position of our country vis-a-vis the hunger index. We are at the very below, at the level which is very alarming level. People in our country is getting not proper food. Even the latest survey report made by Ahuja University, they say that the people are suffering from lack of nutrition. The women and the children are suffering from lack of nutrition, but there has been tall claim about the so-called Garib programs. Now, I find that somebody who stands on behalf of the government speaks high of corona fight. I accuse this government for not taking appropriate steps at the appropriate time to appease some personalities and thereby caused much harm to our society. In the month of December, there was alarming indication of the spread of the coronavirus, but the government of India did not take any preventive measure, any step to ensure that the spread is not done and allow the foreigners to come into our country and check them at the airport. But sudden declaration of lockdown with just 4 hours notice, it has been mentioned by many speakers before me, which has caused tremendous difficulty. The lakhs and lakhs of the workers of the country, they have started working. I find this particular thing, which ought to have been mentioned in the speech of the Honorable President, is missing. Therefore, the President was not allowed to speak on the real sufferings of the people of our country. It has ought to have been mentioned what was the amount of sufferings. It has been described in detail. Everybody knows from the newspaper. I'm not going to give the statistical view. But that had caused tremendous amount of spread. This is no good saying that we could only check the death to the extent of 1 million. That's not an issue. There are other countries, neighboring countries. We take lesson from them. We have seen how they have been able to control the death in their own country by taking appropriate measures at appropriate time. Here, this mentioning is absent, which shows that the President was not really concerned about the plight of the Indian people. Sir, another important aspect which has been discussed by many about the peasants' struggle. I'm sorry to say, in the speech of the Honorable President, there has been no mention. What he has mentioned is very unfortunate. He says that we respect peaceful movement, and he condemns the 26th January's incident. May I just read this? This is very, very important. In paragraph 25 and before 24, It is said after extensive consultation, the Parliament approved 3 important farm reform bills. Sir, a fundamental question, had there been extensive discussion, why the question of taking the ordinance route? Ordinance is ordinarily promulgated when there is an emergency, an extreme emergency situation, then the ordinance is taken recourse to. Had there been so much of discussion, which the government is claiming, the simple answer is not coming. Why did you then go for ordinance? You could have then straightway gone for enactment through the parliamentary discussion. You brought it in the parliament only to get approval of the ordinance. And how we have discussed, one of my fellow members have described, I am not going to waste my time on that. And this caused tremendous amount of dissension amongst the peasants as a whole. This is not a case of Punjab and Haryana. It's no good of citing the example of Punjab or Haryana. Go down the states, go down the villages of every state, everywhere there is demonstration, everywhere the peasants are very much aggrieved by this act. Now someone was telling me peasants are not that much of educated. I really feel to say, the education doesn't mean having acquired a university degree. Education means the education learned from the real life experience. The peasants know where their shoe pinches and they are united. What is their demand? Why can't the government accept this demand? Repeal and re-enact. There is no legislative difficulty. Repealing this act, you can bring that on table and re-enact it. What they want? They want MSP, guaranteed for all. And they also want secured procurement. It's the basic duty of the government to procure for our food safety. We are talking of having huge production made by the peasants that they could do in absence of this amendment of laws. Therefore, they were very much keen to produce, and for the purpose of marketing, it is the duty of the government. Peasants cannot be made to be traders. If you want peasants to be traders, then you are really committing a suicide, and which path you have taken. This is very unfortunate. I find there are many instances of statistics. Statistics, as I say, is a great lie. Statistical data sometimes does not reflect the real situation. So for the MSME is concerned, MSME's allocation, I find it has been really very meager allocation. The amount of 3,000 crore, as you say, vis-a-vis 6.5 crore MSMEs. Therefore, your allocation is absolutely not meeting the need of the people and the MSMEs, which is one of the big producer of employment. This has not been done. Now, you have seen that under Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, Rashtriya Gramin Ajivika Mission, more than 7 crore women entrepreneurs have become a part of the network of nearly 66 lakh self-help groups. These women groups have been provided bank loans worth rupees 3,40,000 crores in last 6 years. If you say for last 6 years, in 1 year you have come, and the 7 crore women, how much does they gain? Therefore, this statistic really does not reflect the realities of life. We have seen the Honorable President has mentioned that the present struggle is going on. No, he did not. He unfortunately avoided that. And the language he said that we respect. This is the constitutional mandate. The government cannot give us some concession by saying we respect. You have to respect. You have to carry forward the constitutional obligations. And Constitution gives us right to freedom of expression. It is expected that we abide by the laws and rules with equal sincerity. Therefore, this equal sincerity should come more from the government.
Because please conclude. Conclude, please.
How much time was allotted to
me? You have taken 8 minutes. Your time is only 6 minutes, actually.
Sorry, I was never told 8 minutes. Anyway, I will conclude. I would conclude with, it doesn't matter whether it or not, I would conclude, let the government and the ruling dispensation, sometimes they talk of Rabindranath Tagore. I conclude with a particular poem from Gitanjali, which has gained acclamation from the whole world. May I read this? What the India was thought of and how the India should be built up, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic worlds. I repeat, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic worlds, where words come out from the depth of the truth. Mere words would not do. Where words come out from the depth of the truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary, treasured sand of dead habit. We are talking Ram Mandir will give us unity. These are all really talking of dead habits, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought of action. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Let us enjoy that freedom where somebody will not be arrested because of speaking against the government, where the intellectuals should not be described as urban naxals and put them behind the bar. Let us think of that. Let us think of the federalism, the foundation of which is diversity in unity and unity and diversity. You do not think that everything should be done by you and every credit should be claimed by you. This is done by the people as a whole of the country. Try to respect them and give respect to them. Withdraw your farm laws, sit with them. You cannot invite them for a negotiation by putting the concrete walls, by stopping their approach to the city. This is not the way a democratic government does it. Therefore, I would appeal through you, sir, that this statement of the Honorable President does not reflect the Indian realities. Therefore, I cannot support this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas ji.